Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show an Android app that I have been waiting for a long time. Ever since I started on Android, I've been looking for an app that would allow me to remotely connect to the phone itself. Now there's lots of apps out there that let you control a computer, such as TeamViewer and also Splashtop, which I use quite a lot, but there's not been an app that allows you to control the phone, surprisingly. Now, when I used to have the old Nokias before we got to sort of smartphone status, you used to be able to plug them in at the bottom in the USB and control everything on the phone from the screen using an app. Now, until now, there hasn't really been anything for Android unless you rooted the phone. There were certain applications, but I don't like to root a phone. So this application has come out called Mobizen, and it goes even further than I expected in that it works over Wi-Fi, it works over 3G, and it also works over USB as well. But recently I have had a problem with it. I was using it fine, and what is great as well is you can, as soon as you've got it set up, you can use it through a website. You just go to the Mobizen website, you set up an email address and a password, and then you can log in remotely, which is just even more amazing. If you aren't allowed to have your phone on at work, but you've got access to the internet, you could periodically check your phone using this application. But as I say, I came across a problem with it. I was using it fine, I was controlling the phone, and then it seemed like out of nowhere the control function stopped. And I kind of messed around with some of the phone settings. I tried it on different computers and nothing seemed to work. So what I actually did was I contacted the Mobizen customer support, which I was absolutely amazed by. I mean, it's a free application, and you log onto their website, and there is an option to talk to a member of staff. So I did that, and they walked me through all the processes because they seem to get this problem a lot. So I figured out what the issue is along with customer support, so I thought I'd do a video on it. So basically, let me show you the problem first of all. I'm going to log into my account because the problem is happening at the moment. So you put your username and password in, you wait a moment while it says connecting to device, it authenticates, and it says connected. Now it's doing that because I have selected that this particular computer doesn't need authentication. You actually have an option where this produces some digits, and you have to replicate the digits through the phone. But I've turned that off because it's kind of a thing that slows me down to get into the system. Now here you've got control of everything. You've got settings, your contacts, music, videos, files, call logs. It's amazing, especially as it being free as well. But you can see here, if I try to click on the WhatsApp using the mouse or any of my applications that I've got set up, nothing happens. Now if I press them on the phone, you'll see that it happens, and I love this. Look at this, there's hardly any delay whatsoever. Tap that and it's pretty much instant. I tend to find that when I'm using it through the USB that's not the case, but certainly over the Wi-Fi it's absolutely lightning fast. And you can see there, if I tilt the screen as well, you can do that. You can also view it in full screen, which is just mega, absolutely mega. You can record the screen as well, but I tend to use a different piece of software for that. Might do another video on that in the future. But for now, how do I get out of this screen? Is it that one? Yeah, there we go. So for now, I want to show how to correct this because it is really easy. So this is a Nexus 5 that I'm using, and like I mentioned before, these phones to have this function usually need to be rooted, but what Mobizen has done is they have allowed us to use this feature by enabling USB debugging on the phone. So I've already got mine enabled, but if you go to settings, this is Android 5 by the way. It's not showing up very well on the screen, but I think if you go into developer options, you've got an option, USB debugging, and you have to enable that. Now what you do to get this set up is you use the Mobizen app, right? And so let's log out of this for a second. And the Mobizen app is on my desktop somewhere. So I'll just open that. So what you do when you first set this up is, if you follow the tutorial videos, you plug it in via USB first of all. You have to make sure that USB debugging is switched on. But then after that, you can disconnect it, turn the USB debugging off, and it carries on working. It carries on working until you turn your phone off. Now that is the big key here. I turn my phone off halfway, because I mean, we never turn, well, I certainly don't. I never turn my phone off anymore. The only time it gets turned off is if it crashes or runs out of battery. So what I did was, once I had connected it up, I turned USB debugging off on the phone, but also I had also gone into the app, which is there, and in the settings, where are we here? Connection method settings. I had turned USB connection off as well. So what's happening here at the moment is it's waiting for a connection. But let's just simulate that by turning that off. Okay, let's close this down. Yes, I want to close it. Let's log into this and try again. Yes. That takes a while to load up. So this is, I'm trying to simulate what was happening to me and why I couldn't figure out what was going on. Okay. So I've turned USB off on the phone, and it's going to connect. I haven't set the computer up as the, I still have to put the code in there when going through the app, so I'm going to do that. So I've gone to the Mobizen app and do the verification. So you've got an option, do not ask for this PC again. You can tick that. Then you can put 613046 and then connect. The phone buzzes and then it connects. Now, I don't know why this is, but using this app, the phone doesn't work. There's more lag, if you see. I don't know if that's something to do with my computer there, but much slower than if I was to use the Wi-Fi through the web page, which seems strange. But if you look here, again, no control. And that is literally because the phone's been reset since I set it up. And also I turned all the USB functions off because I didn't think I need them anymore, but you do need to keep them on. So it's kind of a bit of a pain that we have to do this every time, but every time your phone resets, the answer is you need to plug the USB cable in and enable this booster mode. Now this is the mode that they have used to get by the phone being rooted, I believe. So I've turned that on the phone, and as you can see here, the functions still get replicated, but on here you can't change anything at all. So what I'm going to do is we are going to come out of that and disconnect it. I'm going to close the Mobizen app there, and then so I'm gonna make sure that USB debugging is on, but I think I always have it on now. You just get a little Android sign at the top in your phone. It doesn't cause any problems. It sometimes turns off the media sharing, so when you plug your phone in, you want to share media or whatever, but you can turn that back on in the storage. So yeah, USB debugging is on my phone, and like I say, if you go into your settings, and then storage, you've got a settings at the top there, USB computer connection. Now I've got it as a device, but when I turned debugging on, it switched that off. Anyways, that's just something that I found. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug the phone in to the USB cable, like so, and then what I'm going to do is open the Mobizen app again. You get the little Android symbol at the top. get rid of that. Like you see on the phone here, it's come up here. That's because I've revoked the USB debugging. When you allow this USB debugging, it saves. We see where's always allow from this computer. And if you tick that, I pressed OK, and you can revoke that. I'm gonna log in, but now we've got the USB cable connected and the USB debugging enabled in the app and also on the phone. Phone starts to buzz. You're connected through USB, and now you should see, there we go. We can access stuff. Let's click on stuff. So there you go. And so then, of course, what you can do is disconnect this, come out of there, and then if we go to the Mobizen website, and then log in, it'll take a while just to log in. Phone buzzes, and you'll see we have control again. And I also have a rotation manager switched on so that I can view this in landscape, because sometimes when I'm doing remote desktop I like to be able to stay in the landscape mode. You can see that really quick, hardly any delay whatsoever, but you can see there the control is working. So what I'm going to show is if we turn the phone off and turn it back on again, this function will stop working. So unfortunately you are going to have to do this process every time you turn the phone off. Luckily though, well, I know I don't turn the phone off very often, but yeah, it is sort of a downside to it. It would be great if they could fix that. Like I say, I was scratching my head for a while on how to fix this, but there is a fix. And I can just leave this here. And what I love as well, I mean, this is amazing, is you can wake the phone back up by clicking on here. I mean, that's just amazing, isn't it? You can access the volume keys from here and turn the screen back off if you like. One thing I do notice is that when it's sort of dormant, you get this flashing light, which may drain your battery a bit. It confused me at first. I thought that I got a notification, but it wasn't the case. But what I will do is I'll just turn the phone off and show you that when we do that, this control function stops working. But that's the fix, guys. So anyone with what they're calling an unsupported device, because there are some devices that don't need to use this USB debugging thing. I don't know what those phones are, but I know for a fact that this is the Nexus 5, and supposedly we need this booster mode to be able to get it to work. So, which I find surprising, because the Nexus 5 is sort of like the Google flagship. You'd think the company would work towards that. However, I'm not complaining at all. It does work, and it's amazing what it does. Even some of the other apps that need routing I don't think work as well as this. So big ups to Mobizen and also their customer service as well. So yeah, I'm gonna just switch this phone off and just show you that when we switch it back on, this control function will stop working and you have to go through that same process. So let's do that. I wonder what happens to the app when you shut the phone off. It just freezes, which is fine. It doesn't really matter, does it? You can press back, maybe, or refresh. Is that going to do it? I'll turn the phone back on. Once we do that, yeah, if we press refresh, then it sort of logs out. Just have to wait for the phone to boot up here. Another issue I faced with this is I was noticing that it was disconnecting on the computer after about a couple of minutes of it being dormant, or should I say in the lock screen mode. and what I was actually doing was I was going into the app drawer, and this Mobizen sort of application that stays open, I was flicking it over like that and closing it so there's nothing in the app drawer. And then what happens if you do that is, once this goes onto the lock screen and waits for about 60 seconds, it automatically notices a disconnect. So just make sure that you keep that Mobizen open in the app drawer, and it will stay connected indefinitely, I think. Well, at least until, you know, you may lose your Wi-Fi connection or 3G connection or whatever, so that could cause it to disconnect as well. But I've had it on overnight, no problems without disconnecting. Like I say, just make sure that the Mobizen app is kept there. Okay, so the phone has booted back up, so let's log in. Connected. Okay, and as you will see here, we haven't got any control. So I'll just repeat that process again. I'm going to log out of here. We'll plug in the USB. I will open the Mobizen app. Log in. We get a buzz on the phone. You're connected through USB. You can see here, the controls working again. Okay, so let's log out of there. Log back in. And there we go, back with the control. So, that is my review of the Mobizen app. It is great. Obviously you can see it's flawed slightly, but I have shown you how to fix it. Hopefully it'll work the same for your device. Cheers for watching.